Millions of taxpayer dollars were spent on controversial projects worldwide, including $7.9 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid binary gender language. Number two, $4.5 million to...
Who hasn't been calling for that?
That's right. $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan.
Yes.
$2 million for sex changes and LGBTQ activism in Guatemala.
Thank God. We're fixed now.
$2.1 million to help the BBC value the diversity of Libyan society.
Now I could sleep good at night.
$10 million.
BBC is in British Broadcasting Corp.
$10 million worth of USAID funded meals ended up with an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group.
Yes.
$6 million for tourism in Egypt. $5 million to EcoHealth Alliance, which helped fund bat virus reached at the Wuhan lab. $1.5 million to an Armenian LGBT group.
That's what matters. That's what matters.
That one we can let slide a little bit.
Forget about
Let's let that one slide a little bit.
Forget about the Armenian genocide that's going on.
We got to touch LGBT.
Don't worry about the
$1.5 million to the LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. $2 million to promote LGBT equity in Latin America through entrepreneurship. $2.3 million for artisanal and small-scale gold mining in the Amazon.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Me neither.
$5.5 million for LGBT activism in Uganda. This is where the money is going. But this is why people are so annoyed. I want you to watch this clip. This is from 08-09, okay? 09. Ben Bernanke is being asked about where $500 billion of money went to. This was shared to me by Brandon. Play this clip here and watch the way he answers and just watch his body language and tell me if you believe him.
What's
Go
his
ahead,
job title? But Pat, what was he back then?
Chairman of the Fed.
The Fed. He was the head of the Fed.
No, this guy was like the previous
Alan
Jerome
Greenspan.
Powell.
Yeah,
Right?
The younger people don't know.
Play this clip. Go for it.
Who got the money?
To financial institutions in Europe and other countries?
Which ones?
I don't know.
$500 billion.
$500 billion, and you don't know who got the money?
The loan went to the loans go to the central banks, and they then put them out to their institutions to try to bring down short-term interest rates in dollar markets around the world.
Well, let's start with which central banks got the money.
There are 14 of them, which are listed I'm sure they're listed in here somewhere.
All right. So who
Watch.
actually made that decision to hand out $1 trillion that way? $500 billion. Who made that decision?
The Federal Open Market Committee.
Okay. And was it done at one time or in a series of
A
meetings?
series of meetings.
And under what legal authority?
We have a long-standing legal authority to do swaps with other central banks.
Do you happen to know anything
It's not an emergency authority of any kind.
anything specific about it?
Yes, his lawyer.
Do you know the...
Anybody?
My counsel says Section 14 of the Federal Reserve Act.
Tom, thoughts on this?
You know, it's amazing that such a massive. By the way, does anybody remember how much TARP was? What was TARP?
$787 billion.
Okay, so we're talking about a number that is 75% of TARP. And TARP, we agonized over it and who's getting it and is everybody going to pay it back? And I guess Ford didn't take it. You know, there were islands in the stream of companies that didn't do it. And we were so concerned about all that TARP money. And he is casually talking about, we gave it to the central banks. Central banks give it to their banks. $500 billion. And him, you know, it shows how big the dollars are at the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, and how big the world economy are, but also how blasé our number one leader is about it and not knowing it. Mm-hmm. How can you not know? Well, it was $500 million, and that was a really tough time because this is 2009, and I think all you good people know that last year, 08, was a suck of a year. Mm-hmm. And so it went this much this much went here, this much went here, because the contagion that was the collapse in the U.S. spread over to those banks, and so we needed to give them liquidity, and here's the top 5.
And this is just the beginning of it.
Don't you want a guy to say that?
We tracked this about 4 years ago. There's about $3-4 trillion that did just that, just disappeared from the United States. The scary thing is, this is where we get war. This is when the entire world is destabilized. Bessent said just this weekend, he said, you know, Elon Musk is going in and he's going to make recommendations. He's not making changes. He's making recommendations. We did this in the 70s. We did this in the 90s, and nothing happened. He said, so we're going to get his recommendations, and I don't make the decision. This Secretary of Treasury, I don't make the decision. Me expecting him to say, the president and I will make the decision. No. We will give these recommendations to the Federal Reserve, and they will make the decisions. Excuse me? So when Elon Musk said, we've got to audit the Fed, when you get to the Central Bank of the United States and they try to get in there, that's when you're going to see the entire world destabilized, because that thing is a black hole. A black hole.
I think this is just inevitably needed. I mean, when you ask the common person and they say, I pay taxes, I made 300 grand this year, I made 100 grand this year, I made $500,000 this year, I made 50 grand this year. Where do all my taxes go? You go look at your paycheck and it has your, Social Security, you have Medicare, your Medicaid, you have all these employee tax payroll. You're like, what's happening right now? So then, accountability is a hell of a drug. And when you start asking these questions, so yeah, what happened to $500 billion? He's just like, yeah, I don't know. What my lawyer said, yeah, according to Section 472,
but you know what?
I don't really know.
But that's also the reason why America is excited about DOGE.
Yes.
That's why. It's
Yes.
very simple. America just wants to know, where is my money going? And you talk about team of rivals. You know what it makes me think about? Why it's possible for the $3 trillion to be gone? If there's such a thing as team of rivals, there has to be such a thing as team of criminals.
Yes.
Where they protect each other and say, hey, how much you got? Okay, cool. All right, good. Good for you, my brother. Okay, I'm going to go. How much you got? Okay. Guys, yes. So this is, well, look, sometimes it happens and, but we're going to have to move on, and to see what's in the bill, you have to pass it first to find out exactly what we're spending money, and trust the politicians that they have the best interest in you. And we're like, no.
Exposing those people is Jason Bourne stuff. That's when you get the most powerful people with all this money saying, not me, not me, cause a distraction. That's when you start to have wars.
And that's the problem, Glenn, I think. Sorry, Adam. I think that's the problem of why this guy has been such a threat to them.
Yes.
No wonder why they tried to shoot him. No wonder why they're trying to destroy him. It just hasn't stopped, because now he's pulled back the curtain, and Glenn, and now we're going transgender what the like
so,
what?
So listen to this though. We're still framing this incorrectly. People are saying, where did my tax money go?
Yeah.
You will work your entire life. You will struggle to make your taxes, to be able to go to the grocery store, because you're paying your fair share.
Yeah.
All of your money will not pay for the LGBTQ advancement in Uganda. Everything you've paid your entire life will not pay for that one program. What the hell? Yeah. You say we're here and I'm getting Social Security tax taken out. Then I have to pay my income tax. They're spending not only the income tax, they're spending more than the income tax, and they've spent your Social Security money as well. Yeah. They're leaving you penniless. For what? Not Ugandans. They're doing it for the NGOs and the power.
Yep. Exactly. And not even the NGOs as well. I mean, look at the Department of Defense. So, I mean, I think, Robert, I sent you that clip, the conversation that Jon Stewart had with, I think, the deputy secretary of the...
This is not new.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is, this is the problem.
Yeah, you can play this clip, but play the clip. This is older. And Rob, if you can get the date so we can tell the audience when this is from, we'll go for it.
2 summers ago.
Like, there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose these pieces.
Please educate me on
Sure.
What
so an audit is exactly what you just described,
yes.
which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit, or the fact that the DOD has not passed an audit, is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there.
Because we didn't pass the audit.
So what is
now it's a question of, it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where.
Watch her laugh. Watch this laugh.
That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
Ready for the laugh?
So in my world, that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you are not responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you caused this, but I think it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure I didn't
that
cause it.
an $850 billion budget
What's
to
funny?
an organization.
You can pause
that
it.
can't
It's disturbing to listen to it. Like, what's funny about
This is the best thing that can happen that Donald Trump can do. Right now, you're going after USAID. And so all the liberals are saying, oh my gosh, you're going to stop feeding children.
Yeah.
What are they going to say when the conservatives go into the Pentagon and say, look at the billions of dollars?
Yeah.
You have nothing to say. You have
wanna
nothing to
stop
say.
funding
We're
foreign
supposed
wars
to
and all
be
this?
we're supposed to be the war hawks. I don't want any waste, any abuse.
Thank you.
And no bribery.
Yeah, and
nothing. None of it.
Well, you know what drives me crazy though, because we had Chris Cuomo, who we love Chris, and he was here. Their attitude is, the Democrats' attitude is like, yeah, but it's a 1%. I'll go, I don't give a shit.
I don't
how
care.
percent? It's billions and billions. It's like with the border. If one American girl gets raped and murdered by an illegal, that's too much. I don't want $1 going anywhere for anybody else. It's America first.
If this was happening at your church, the federal government would be all over that church saying they're wasting your money, there's graft, and that church could stand up and say it's only 1 or 2%. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and by the way, that
church,
clip was from April 6, 2023. So
Okay.
exactly 2 summers ago.
So not even your church. How about your household? So I do a lot of personal finance consulting on Monect. By the way, download Monect. And I always start when people say, I want to get better at investing. I want to understand how to save more. I want to see what I'm doing. I go, all right, step 1, we're going to do a budget. I was like, how often do you do a budget? Not often, Adam. All right, well, 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and it just so happens that 2/3 of Americans don't do a budget every month. All right, here we go. What's your rent? What's your transportation? What's your F&B? Oh, so you make $100,000 a year. Your rent's only $1,200. Where's all your money going? There's 40 grand missing in your budget. That's not like 400. Well, I do eat out a lot, and I went on a bunch of vacations this year. I'm like, there's all this money is unaccounted for, and you're wondering why you don't have money to invest.
The way she put it, the way she paints it is, well, that's a person making $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year. Adam, we're dealing with an $850 billion budget. Stop it. I mean, for us to be able to tell you exactly what we're doing, it's not even possible. So you guys live in your small little life while we live at this high level. And we went to the school, to like real good schools. So who are you to even say who we are?
And then my counter argument would be, listen, woman, that's even more so to make sure that we're not missing a zero and sending 50 million instead of 50 billion.
You're so dramatic. Knock it off.
You know what? That's what they would say. Guys, we have $40 trillion in debt. We have a $2 trillion deficit every year. Just don't worry about it.
Look at $200 billion going to Ukraine. We now know that about 30% of that actually made it to the front lines. We know this. We've been exposing this for a long time. It takes, you got to give 10% to this guy to get to this guy.
10%
then
of the big
10%
guy.
of this guy to this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and then it gets to the front lines. We now know that they are selling some of those arms to the border cartels. Jeez. Okay? That's why this matters. That's why we should have known exactly where every dollar goes.
Gentlemen, for you, if you're married or you're dating a girl who watches the PBD podcast and loves valuetainment, by the way, I am being stopped right now more than ever before with ladies that watch the PBD podcast. We did a market research. We realized it was because of Tom Ellsworth, but it's gone up a lot because of the interest and Tom being a family guy, and a lot of ladies want their husbands to be paying attention to Tom and what things we talk about here. There's requests of getting rid of Adam. A guy tweeted me the other day saying, look, don't ever make the mistake of getting rid of Adam. He is this. He starts building up how special Adam is. I'm like, oh, my God, Adam, stop. I thought it was Adam on the other end trying to sell me on himself. And I responded back. I said, I have some bad news for you. We just fired Adam, and he was devastated. Started campaigning, but unfortunately, Adam is back. And we're great to have him. And you guys know we love Adam. But at the same time, this is about Valentine's Day for you and your wives. So let me get back to that message.
It was a nice love message. Right
yes, it was. You got a little too much last week, and I'm trying to tone it back down for you.
Put me in my place, sir.
You don't need a lot of it. Sometimes when you do you're walking in clouds. And
we don't need that.
Adam's a Hollywood guy, folks. You got to get used to that. But let me get back to you, gents. Valentine's Day, okay? Last week, we had the rhinestone shirt with the vitamin. You see the black one right there, Rob? Sold out like this. So, fellas, good for you for purchasing it for your wives, but that's been sold out. The one that we have now is the red one, red sweater with the VT logo on the front, nice. And the Future Looks Bright on the back. The material is amazing. Absolute amazing material. You, Rob, we still have some of the pink hats left. If you order today and you put the 2-day shipping, you will get this pre-Valentine's Day, and the first 50 orders, again, special gift will be added in the box. Go place the order. That pink hat was a number 5 selling item we had last week. Not that one, the other one, the bottom left. That one was a number 5 best-selling item last week for Valentine's Day. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.